The story begins with a festive mood, balloons, streamers, and a room filled with laughter. It's Emily's 12th birthday party, and she's excited to celebrate with her closest friends in the backyard of her family's large, old home. The party is going perfectly: cake, music, and games. Little do they know, something far more sinister is about to unfold. As the evening wears on, the sun dips below the horizon, and the adults head inside to give the kids some space. Emily suggests playing a game of hide and seek in the dark, a tradition among her friends at her annual birthday parties. Everyone loves the idea, so they split up to find their hiding spots. Emily decides to hide behind an old, overgrown tree in the far corner of the yard. The moon casts eerie shadows across the grass, and the faint sounds of distant crickets fill the silence. After a few minutes, Emily hears something strange, a faint giggle, but it doesn't sound like one of her friends. It's too high-pitched, too unsettling. She tries to ignore it, thinking it's just her imagination. The giggle comes again, closer this time. Emily peers around the tree, expecting to see one of her friends trying to scare her, but there's no one there. Suddenly, a cold breeze brushes against her skin, sending chills down her spine. She feels like she's being watched, her heart pounding in her chest. She quickly whispers, "Guys, is someone there?" No response, just silence. As she's about to leave her hiding spot, Emily catches a glimpse of something in the distance, an old clown figure standing at the edge of the yard. It's not a party decoration, and it certainly wasn't there before. Its faded costume and chipped makeup make it look like it's been forgotten for years. Emily's blood runs cold. The clown's head slowly turns toward her, and its mouth stretches into an unnatural grin. Emily stumbles back, her breath caught in her throat. She turns to run back toward the house, but as she does, she hears footsteps behind her, fast and uneven. She runs as fast as she can, her feet pounding on the grass, but the footsteps grow louder. She glances over her shoulder, and the clown is closer now, its eyes wide with a menacing glare. Emily screams, but the music from inside the house drowns out her voice. She pushes open the back door, breathless and terrified, finally reaching the safety of the house. Inside, Emily frantically tells her friends about the clown, but no one believes her. They laugh, thinking it's just a prank or her overactive imagination. Desperate to prove she's not lying, Emily leads them outside to the spot where she saw the clown. But when they get there, it's gone, no trace of the figure, no footsteps, nothing. The party resumes, but Emily remains shaken. Later that night, after the party has ended and everyone has gone home, she heads to her room to sleep. As she lies in bed, trying to shake the feeling of dread, she hears a familiar sound, a faint giggle, echoing from outside her window. She slowly gets out of bed and walks toward the window, her heart racing. She pulls back the curtain, and there, standing in the yard, is the clown, its wide grin even more menacing in the moonlight. The story fades to black, leaving the viewer with one final, chilling thought: some birthday surprises are best left undiscovered. A year has passed since Emily's terrifying encounter with the clown, and though she has tried to forget, she can't shake the memory. Her parents, unaware of the lingering fear in her, decide to throw another birthday party. This time, they promise it will be extra special to help her get over the last one. The day of Emily's 13th birthday arrives, and the party has a lively, carnival-themed setup, brightly colored tents, face painting, and a towering piñata hanged from a sturdy tree in the middle of the yard. The piñata is shaped like a large, smiling sun, and its vibrant design catches everyone's attention. Despite the cheerful setup, Emily can't shake a sense of unease. Something feels off, like an invisible weight pressing down on her. As the party continues, the kids gather around the piñata. Emily stands to the side, still feeling strange about the whole thing. Her best friend, Sarah, grabs the stick and gets ready to take the first swing. The other kids cheer as Sarah gives it a hard whack. The piñata sways but doesn't break. She swings again, and again, each time with more force. But still, nothing happens. Finally, on the fourth swing, the piñata splits open, but instead of candy pouring out, a cloud of dark, shimmering dust floats down. The kids stare, confused. Sarah reaches out to touch it, but as soon as the dust lands on her hand, her eyes widen, and she stumbles back, dropping the stick. She tries to speak but can only gasp as the dust clings to her skin, rapidly spreading across her arm. Emily rushes to help, but as she gets closer, Sarah lets out a piercing scream. Her body convulses, and the dark dust begins to pull her toward the piñata. as though an invisible force is dragging her in. The other kids back away, too frightened to move. Sarah is lifted off the ground, suspended in midair as her body seems to be absorbed into the piñata. The once cheerful sun design on the piñata begins to change, its smile turning into a sharp-toothed grin, its bright colors fading into ominous, shadowy tones. As Sarah disappears completely, the piñata swells, growing larger, its surface rippling like something inside is trying to break free. Panic sets in, and the kids run screaming back to the house. Emily, frozen in shock, watches as the piñata tears open. From inside emerges a grotesque figure, its body made of twisted paper and cloth, its face an eerie mirror of the clown she saw the year before, only this time it's more monstrous, its eyes burning with an unnatural light. The figure moves toward Emily, its long, tattered arms reaching out for her. She stumbles back, her breath coming in ragged gasps. She can hear the adults shouting from the house, but they can't see what's happening. To them, everything appears normal, but for Emily, it's like watching a nightmare come to life. Desperate, Emily grabs the piñata stick and swings it with all her might. The figure dodges easily, taunting her with a low, distorted laugh. Just as it's about to grab her, the piñata stick begins to glow, a soft, golden light emanating from its tip. Emily swings again, and this time, the light grows stronger, striking the figure square in the chest. The figure screeches, a horrible, inhuman sound. As its body begins to disintegrate, the dark dust swirls around it, pulling it back toward the remains of the piñata. In seconds, the figure is gone, and the yard is silent once more. Emily drops the stick, her hands trembling. The piñata lies in tatters on the ground, and there is no sign of Sarah. The adults rush over, confused and asking what happened, but Emily can't speak. She knows no one will believe her. That night, as Emily lies in bed, she can't help but wonder if Sarah is still out there somewhere, or worse, if she's trapped inside the piñata, waiting for her chance to return. Just as Emily closes her eyes, she hears a faint creaking sound, like rope swaying in the wind. She turns toward her window and sees the silhouette of the piñata hanging from the tree once again, its eerie grin staring back at her. Some birthday memories are never forgotten or forgiven. It's Emily's 14th birthday, and she's decided to keep things low-key after the terrifying events of the last two parties. This year, she's only inviting a few close friends for a quiet night at home. No big decorations, no outdoor games, and definitely no piñatas. Just a simple movie marathon and pizza. But a few days before the party, something strange arrives in the mail, a bright red envelope with Emily's name scrawled in large, looping letters. She doesn't recognize the handwriting, and there's no return address. Thinking it might be a prank, she opens it up. Inside is a glossy invitation card with an unsettling design. A clown, similar to the one from 2 years ago, is printed on the front, grinning with hollow eyes. The invitation reads, "Come one, come all, to Emily's birthday bash. Don't be late, things get crazy after dark." Emily's heart races. She didn't send this, and her parents hadn't planned anything elaborate. Disturbed, she throws the invitation in the trash, deciding not to think too much about it. But later that night, as she's getting ready for bed, she notices something out of place. The invitation is back, sitting on her desk, the clown's grin looking even more sinister. Confused, she grabs it and tears it in half, tossing the pieces in the trash again. The next morning, Emily wakes up to find the invitation, fully intact, lying on her pillow. Shaken, Emily tells her friends about the creepy invitation, but none of them have received anything similar. They brush it off, saying it's probably just a prank. Emily, however, can't shake the feeling that something terrible is coming. The day of the party arrives, and despite her unease, Emily tries to stay calm. Her friends show up, and they settle in for a night of movies and fun. As they watch their third horror movie of the evening, the lights suddenly flicker. At first, they think it's just a storm outside causing a power surge, but then the TV screen cuts to static, and the sound of carnival music fills the room. Confused, Emily gets up to check the TV, but before she can touch the remote, the screen changes. A live video feed appears, showing the front of her house. The camera is positioned at the end of the driveway, where a large, dark figure is standing. It's hard to make out the details, but as the figure moves closer, Emily's stomach drops. The figure is wearing a clown costume. Her friends freeze, staring at the screen in shock. The clown moves slowly, its head tilted to the side in a twisted, unnatural way. As it approaches the front door, it pulls something from behind its back, a large red balloon. The camera zooms in, and the clown's face fills the screen, its eyes gleaming with malice. It taps on the front door, and the carnival music grows louder, warping into a haunting melody. The doorbell rings. Emily jumps, her heart pounding in her chest. She rushes to the window to see if anyone is really there. To her horror, the clown is standing right outside, holding the balloon just like in the video. Its head turns slowly, looking up at her window, locking eyes with her. Emily stumbles back, shouting for her friends to call the police, but their phones have no signal. The doorbell rings again, this time more urgently, followed by loud, slow knocks. The room fills with tension as the clown's shadow passes by the windows, moving around the house. Suddenly, there's a loud crash from the back door. It's been forced open. Emily and her friends grab whatever they can find to defend themselves, but as they turn to face the hallway, they see the clown's balloon floating slowly toward them. It glides through the air as if controlled by an unseen force, the string dangling just above the ground. Then, the clown appears in the doorway, standing unnervingly still. Its smile is wider now, and it lets out a low, guttural laugh. Without warning, the lights go out completely, plunging the room into darkness. The only light comes from the flickering TV screen, still showing the eerie live feed of the clown outside. Suddenly, a piercing scream echoes through the room. Emily's friend, Hannah, is yanked into the shadows by an invisible force. The others scream, scrambling to find her, but she's gone, vanished without a trace. The sound of heavy, slow footsteps fills the house, growing closer and closer. The carnival music warps into a cacophony of distorted laughter and haunting melodies. Desperate, Emily grabs a flashlight and makes her way to the front door. She swings it open, only to find the driveway empty. The clown is gone, and there's no sign of Hannah. Her other friends rush outside with her, terrified and confused. Just as they think they're safe, Emily feels something cold brush against her hand. She looks down and sees a small red envelope lying on the porch, identical to the one she had received before. Trembling, she picks it up and opens it. Inside is a single sentence, written in blood-red ink: "The party's not over. I'll see you next year." Emily drops the card, her heart pounding with fear. She knows this isn't over, and deep down, she realizes that no matter what she does, no matter how hard she tries to avoid it, the clown will be back. Some invitations can never be declined, and some nightmares never end.